Good evening, everybody. Hope you all had a great day. We're going to be doing our usual dollar, NAS, and gold on the daily chart, and then just quickly look at Nasdaq and gold on the hourly, just to get our lay of the land and our feel for the upcoming day tomorrow. At the end of the last video, I mentioned that I have opened a free Discord. I'm going to leave the link to that in the comments, so feel free to join. I'm going to try and build up a community of people so we can push each other and just grow there and share concepts and ideas. Getting into the dollar though, when we were talking about it yesterday on this candle, after we took out this low, I wanted to see if we would trade up and get inside of the SIBI. We ended up falling a bit short of that, and now it's looking like it wants to roll over. So to me, this is showing weakness. Like it wasn't strong enough to get up into this area. So it failed to do that. And then now we have this wick, which is left here. And you can treat these wicks as gaps. So what I did was measure the 50% of that wick, which is this level right here. So any upside, I would like to see this level hit. This is still permissible too, but we need to see a good reaction down. And just because we're in such close proximity to all these lows in here that have been left intact since the start of April, I'd ideally want to see us draw into this sell side, which is nested with that fair value gap on the weekly. So that's ideally what I'm looking for on dollar. Come to Nasdaq, I mean, same kind of idea. I'm not really liking this though, especially because I'm bearish on dollar for the short term and also on Nasdaq, which is an unsymmetrical market. So this has just been ripping higher the whole time. We're kind of stuck within this range in here. So I'd like to see where we are in the morning as well. I like if we come down below this low, and then if we were to sweep that, I'm looking at the wick 50% on this candle, as well as this one right there, for that to be a good little zone with fair value gap, so we could turn around. But I'm just I'm just not a fan of these conditions right now. Nothing's really moving in tandem that I like. It's kind of wonky, so just letting it iron itself out. Like I said, we're not really pushing it too hard right now, but not too much to talk about on this one. Just kind of marked out liquidity, and then we'll see what time we get there, because we still got, right, until my 9:30 to 11 kill zone. We still got time, so we'll assess that more in the morning and look at the hourly perspective. Gold played out nicely. We did roll over this wick, like I was talking about, this one that reached into the 50% of that wick there, and then it fell off. We rolled right over top of that, traded deep inside of this buy side. So because this higher time frame target was met and just the overall conditions of the market, I'm not really expecting too much. This could easily just consolidate for a little bit, but I'll have more perspective when we drop down to the hourly, so we'll do that. And yeah, we'll start on Nasdaq. So this is that one low I was pointing out that had my interest. This is the other high I had marked. I don't have it marked here just to keep the chart a bit cleaner. Yesterday, I was talking about this gap, and if we were to trade into it and then back down below these relative equal lows, we did do that. We traded in there, and then we came back into the new week opening gap again, pressed higher. The bodies respected below here. We had a little bit of a wick through that took the buy side. That's fine. And then it came down lower from there, took out the sell side, a bit deeper into this fair value gap, fully closing that in. And then after it did that, it just came right back into the new week opening gap. So you can see since we opened on Sunday right here, it's just stayed within it, traded outside a little bit to take out buy side, came back in, engineered equal lows here, hovered around it a bit more, took out buy side, jammed it right back down below those relative equal lows, right back into the new week opening gap, and that's that's all this week has been so far. It's slow, it's consolidating, it's not really doing a whole lot. It's just kind of running out liquidity and returning back into the range. So that's not, that's not an ideal condition, right? And to put it in perspective, if we measure this, which looks like the biggest run of the week so far, just from this high down to that low, we have 292 points. If we measure this single candle from Thursday at 10 a.m., it is 273 points. So one hourly candle from last week has been larger than the entire range high and range low of this week, even if we come from this one to the lowest low. It's still, it's a bit more, but it's relatively the same. I'm just trying to put in perspective how slow this week has been compared to the usual price action and what it could be. So nothing crazy exciting going on here. These are the times when you have to know when to, sit back, relax a little bit, and just understand you don't need to be doing everything every day. Yes, we are day traders, or I am, but that's not an everyday trader. So, just coming back to my anticipation for this lackluster market is we do have this bullish for value gap, or BISI in here. It was broken below, so could see if it comes up into here before this low is taken out, right? This wouldn't be valid if this low is taken out. If it just kind of hovers around in here, does whatever until the morning, and then we pop back in, maybe take out some more highs, and then dip lower, I would be looking at that. That wouldn't be too bad. But let's say we were to do something like this, where we just come straight down and take it and then come back in. That's a no. I wouldn't like to see that because our target would have been taken already. Especially, I know we have this one here, but just with the give and take, the ebb and flow of this current market, I wouldn't want to see something like that. Not really into that. I feel like if it was to take out this low and then come back into that area, it would probably hang around in this gap a bit and then maybe even push above that. So again, nothing's really black and white. Like when I had this one, right? I said, I'm here. I'd like to see if we can trade above, back down into that, and then take out the high. And there's just nothing that's kind of printing with that one-sidedness for me yet. So all about staying patient, but this is in the crosshair. This is potentially in the crosshair, depending what we do overnight and what I wake up to. And then we also have this trendline phantom kind of thing. That could be the target for any potential upside. But again, I'm saying it. I don't really know. I don't really like much. I don't have my conviction too solid behind anything. I'm just marking levels and going by the if this, then I'll do that. If this happens, then I'll look to do that, and just seeing what's presented to me in that moment. So that's how I'm attacking this lackluster market. If we drop to gold, see that's that high. This is the one we completely blew out, that higher time frame daily one. We had this SIBI, which was nested with that fair value gap, and I believe we were talking about it right in here. It ended up reaching higher, came back in, just touched the premium high of this, and then that is what gave it the jet fuel that launched it right up into there. So this is point of interest for me. If we don't get down here too much, and let's say we just range we could pop up here and then maybe see what's presented up here for a sell to take us lower. That's something that's on my radar. But also is if we look at this swing here and we put our fib on that, right? You can see there's our equilibrium point, so we're in a premium. If we come back down lower, we have this gap here, which lines up with that old daily high, and also that bullish fair value gap on the daily chart. The 50% of that is exactly the premium high of this gap. So I feel like that's a strong area that could be drawn to. Potential bearish order block right here that we are accumulating sells in. So if we're to overnight trade down lower into this, that could be something. But this, I'll show you what this level is. If we come to the daily chart, and if I measure from right here, that high to this low, there's our 50% of that gap, which could see a retracement back down into. Right, so it looks like this. See, there's that 50%. So that's how I found that level to market. And yeah, again, we're just gonna see what we get in the morning. I like this one a bit better. Like I would kind of wish we were in the 9:30 to 10 a.m. right now. I'd be all over in this on the 5-minute and 1-minute, looking for raids on buy side and then a breaker and sell down into there. So yeah, that's all I got for tonight. We're just still staying patient. There's nothing too concrete. We've been pretty good at mapping it out and picking our areas we want to see it reverse and draw towards, but still, I mean, until stuff starts getting in sync a bit more through all the different markets, it's going to be just taking it slow, one step at a time. You know, your career's longer than a day, so don't try to push your edge and dull it in conditions like this. You got to let it kind of come to you a bit, and the time you spend between your setups waiting is generally where disaster happens. So getting comfortable being patient, not knowing, that is a strength, and this is how you forge it, by being in these conditions and marking stuff up like that, calling moves, missing them, all that good stuff. So until I talk to you next time, stay safe, have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow.